I love dogs. We have a rescue pitty we've had for 8 years as a foster. I see an old man, his words, early 60s, chatting with my neighbor. His dog has no leash. His dog peed on the side of my car. I grab a bucket, shampoo, sponge, and walk outside. Neighbor, hello OP, washing the car again? Me, friendly, actually, your mate's dog just peed all over my car's door. I would appreciate. Man, my dog? He wouldn't do that. Me, sir, I just watched him do it. If you look at the door you can see the pee on there, a puddle. Man, no, don't accuse my dog. Everyone here has dogs. Maybe it was your own. Me, again, I saw him. That golden with the red collar, is your dog correct? It was that dog. Man, full volume, my dog did not pee on your car. Me, well I'm certain he did, no damage done yet, it still washes off. I got you some soapy water, shouldn't take more than a few seconds. Neighbor, man, just wash it off, accidents happen. Man, I am not washing this kid's car, he can wash it himself. I do not look like a kid. Me, not asking you to wash my car, just his pee. Man, some trash talk, I am not your servant, my dog did not pee on your door. I am not washing it. Me, so that's also not him pooping in my, different, neighbor's yard then? Maybe you should walk him first, then chat. Man, dog, come here. Dragging the dog out of the yard by his collar who was still pooping, while stepping on the plants, dragging dirt over the sidewalk. Then started walking off. Me, pick up that mess, dude. Man, screw you. You clean it up yourself. Me, stop acting like such an idiot. The man walks back, and while basically telling me to go screw myself, knocks over my bucket and walks away. My sponge got sand in it and was ruined. I ended up washing my car door. Neighbor got a broom and cleaned a sidewalk. Later he posted a nasty topic on a neighborhood info watch app. He obviously didn't expect me to be on there. He fabricated a story that I am a dog hater that tried to force a rheumatic old man to clean his entire car while he was just walking past. He is afraid of me now blah blah. Mentioned my name and info too. I replied with screenshots of him, security cam, with his dog peeing on my car, picked out the worst looking screenshots of him getting in my face and knocking over my bucket, also one of him dragging his dog away by its neck, that caused a big backlash. And wrote what really happened. My neighbor thinks I went too far, because some of our neighborhood people are apparently after him on the app now sending nasty messages. He said I made it look worse than it was by picking those specific images, that he was just an old grumpy man having a bad day. I feel justified though, because he tried to paint me off as a horrible person and I just stated the truth. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You probably wouldn't have chosen those particular images that made him look so bad if you didn't have to refute the lies he was telling about you on the neighborhood app in the first place. You were in the position of having to overturn a narrative against you that people would already have started to believe. You really had no choice. I get the grumpy old guy having a bad day part, if he was just trying to offer you an apology for his behavior alone. But he went further and tried to smear your reputation in the neighborhood for calling out his bad behavior, and now he is upset because your fight fire with fire tactics worked, and the neighbors now see him as he really is. Not the idiot. And he's a super idiot for trying to defame you on social media. I mean, if the dude wants to fight dirty, and just think, if you didn't respond, etc., that your reputation would have been ruined in the neighborhood, then he gets all that comes to him. Especially in this day and age, when everyone has the ability to record and have everyone make up their own minds. It's not like you fabricated crap, so I would tell the neighbor, hey, I was respectful, and asked him to clean up after his dog. He went online to attack my character. He's not just a grumpy old dude having a bad day, he literally tried to turn neighbors against me because of his childish behavior. Not the idiot, overall. But, honestly, I wouldn't expect to walk outside with a bucket and push anyone to clean up pee. You were in the right, but also provoking an incident. I think I'm a good person, but I'd puff up, And tell you to back off too, if you tried to force me to wash part of your car. Even if I felt I was in the wrong, I would be stubborn when approached this way. The rest of it, though, you should have called him out publicly, after he took the fight public. Well done. And again, not the idiot, except that you knew nobody would take that request to use a sponge well. My sister, 26, has no concept of money. She has expensive taste and has resulted in her having no money, wasting all her savings and having to move in with me, 36, as our parents are sick of telling her to save her money and she doesn't. They basically don't want to bail her out anymore. I only agreed to take her in on the condition she pays $200 a month towards household expenses. I made it that low, so she can save more money from her job. She also had to help out with chores and stuff. She was elated at this proposal. I also luckily own my home outright, so I don't see the point of charging her rent. The first few months were fine. She actually saved her paychecks. She also has a driving license and started talking about buying her first car. I told her she could save up a fair bit and buy a used car, so she doesn't waste all her money on a brand new car she's paying off for years. I showed her some sites to look at which were verified car dealers and also calculated how much deposit she could put down and how much she'd be paying monthly and for insurance. She seemed to appreciate my input and she told me she was gonna save for maybe a year to have a decent deposit. She told me recently she was going to go and look at a car. This quickly changed to her telling me she had already bought a car when I was out one day. She was very vague about the details, and I wanted to trust she made good judgment, so I just asked her questions about it. She told me it cost her $25. I thought she meant she had a $2,500 deposit down, and told her that was awesome. She seemed really weird, and then told me the car itself was actually $25,000. I asked her how the hell she could afford a deposit for a car that much, and she told me she got a loan. I told her she was a dumb. She showed me the loan and the interest rate is sky high, and the monthly costs on the car are ridiculous. I said to her, why the hell would you get a loan and buy a car that's going to ruin you financially? She just shrugged her shoulders and said she didn't want a cheap car. I made her realize how stupid she'd been, and she started crying, but I had no sympathy for her. I can easily afford to help her out with her debt, but I said, you made this mess, you fix it. I am done trying to help you. She has gone to our parents, where she told them a lie. I told them the truth and they ended up being on my side. My sister says I am an idiot as I am refusing to help my baby sister out, and that she made a genuine mistake. However, she keeps doing this, and she is 26, she needs to learn to control her money. I love her, but it's also her own mess. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but maybe stop being easy on her and start charging her market rate rent, or a little below, and a percentage of your actual utilities. I think giving someone a cheap place to stay is all well and good when it's someone who can manage their money or is just in a tight spot because of something out of their control, but I don't think it's helpful in her situation. And if she can't afford to pay you actual rent and keep the car, it may start to sink in that she's not making good decisions. You can also keep the money she pays you in rent for her to use later for a first and last month's rent and deposit on an apartment or something. Not the idiot. This isn't a genuine mistake. This is an ongoing pattern of behavior. It seems that, for whatever reason, your sister lacks impulse control when it comes to her spending. A good birthday present for her would either be therapy or a few sessions with a financial advisor or basic finance classes to teach her how to live within her means. This is a problem that will continue throughout her life if she doesn't get a handle on it soon. She could spend the rest of her life paying off the bad financial decisions she's making now. Not the idiot. I'm not sure how the loan affects her income at the end of the day, but I'd stick to making her pay the $200 and do not give her back that money or anything. In reality, she's made it to 26 without knowing how to handle money because she's been bailed out every time. Imagine being horrible with money And at the end of the day, the only consequences she's faced are living with a caring sibling, paying only $200 rent, and doing some chores, which you have to do anyways as a functional adult, and a brand new car. Seems like managing money like crap works out pretty well for her. Be more strict. My boyfriend hosts his own podcast dedicated to movies, and he even has his own studio that he's renting out so that he can record there. He has some co-hosts, legit recording equipment, and he has a decent following. I always go to the studio to just sit on the side and watch as he records, but I've noticed that he's started to become a bit different ever since the start of the podcast. On a podcast a few weeks ago, the topic was 2016 movies as my boyfriend and his co-hosts revisited some of their favorite and least favorite films of 2016. One co-host brought up Arrival as their favorite film of 2016, and while he was talking, my boyfriend loudly says yawn, and he explains that he thought Arrival was boring. My boyfriend then goes into this giant rant about how he hated Arrival, calling it one of the most overrated movies of all time. He says that he looks down on people who like the movie because he claims that they think they're smart, and he says that he's proud of himself for seeing past that movie and its faux attempts at intelligence. And whenever someone would try to change the subject, he'd just interrupt them and go right back to talking about how much he hates Arrival. Then just a few days ago, he was recording another show and the topic was MCU movies. My boyfriend brought up that he thinks Age of Ultron is a hidden gem and massively overlooked masterpiece. One of his co-hosts scoffed when he said those things, and that set off my boyfriend. He starts attacking the co-host for his taste in movies and started saying stuff like, "Just because I have a better understanding of the art of filmmaking, it doesn't mean you have to be jealous of me." That was actually enough for the co-host to just walk out in the middle of the show, and my boyfriend said that's fine, I only want to talk to true auteurs of film on this show. And just yesterday, I asked him if we could see Shazam together, but he simply responded with I deserve better than those DC movies. I confronted him and told him that he needs to stop acting like he's smarter than everyone over his taste in film, and he said truth hurts, doesn't it? And it's like this a lot. Whenever I'm watching a movie he doesn't like, he'll just scoff and say typical. I'm thinking of breaking up with him, but I also feel weird about dumping him over him having differing views on film. What do you think? Not the idiot, it would be weird if you didn't dump him. He has serious opinions about movies which he has to share, which is barely tolerable. But worse, he seems mostly concerned about dividing movies into categories and berating people who don't agree. Obsessing over what is overrated or underrated isn't serious film criticism, it's pretty much the lowest form of critical analysis. It sounds like he just likes to talk about other people's bad taste, and his inevitable conclusion that this is because we're all stupid. And to top it all off, he's not even a highbrow snob, he's going on about MCU versus DC, like a food critic raving about McDonald's versus Burger King. Not the idiot, sounds like toxic arrogance, and that is a total turn off, and would be a reason for me to break up with someone. If this is his attitude towards movies, it could easily turn to snobism in other parts of his life. I have a friend who is the biggest movie buff I can imagine, and while he is definitely an expert movie watcher, he wants to see most every movie and is just super excited to share it with his friends. I've recommended him some stuff and he'll watch it and let me know what he thinks. If we disagree, we'll have a lively discussion about it, and it's fun. That's the way to be a true movie enthusiast if you ask me. Not the idiot. I'm a professional critic, not a blogger or podcaster. Your boyfriend's behavior is exceptionally unprofessional. Berating or condescending to anyone for a differing opinion betrays a complete lack of comprehension of what film criticism is. It requires much more skill as a critic to bring the audience along on the journey and elevate their curiosity about the larger body of film and the various ways in which it is used as a narrative vehicle, a platform of artistic expression, cultural commentary, and the like. Okay, some backstory, it's relevant. So, I have gained quite a bit of weight in the past 2 years, and unfortunately I do weigh quite a bit more than I used to. I wish I could say that it's due to baby weight, but the truth is that I lost almost all the baby weight, and the weight I did gain was due to a pretty heavy depression I was going through due to the fact that the past 2 years have been incredibly unkind to me. While I was at the end of my pregnancy in 2018, my younger cousin was murdered. A month later, my father had a heart attack and died, and 3 days after my father passed, I found out that my husband had been cheating on me with the downstairs neighbor for the prior 2 years. I wish I could say that I'm making this up, but I'm not. Anyways, everything that went down took a huge toll on me mentally, and on top of that, I ended up in a job that I hated, so to cope, I ate more than normal and started drinking too. Nothing too excessive, but it certainly doesn't help. My husband does this thing where, if I get new pants, he'll try them on to see if they fit. They do. And it's incredibly embarrassing. I've told him so, and that I don't like it when he tries on my clothes, but he'll still try on my pants and remark something along the lines of, "Wow, they actually fit." Oh my god. Whoa. This morning I had a bundle of new pants on the bed that I haven't worn because I need to get them hemmed, and my husband decided he wanted to try these ones on too. He was about to say something when I cut him off and basically ripped him a new idiot. I basically just yelled, "Why do you have to do this every time? Does it have to be every time? You're making fun of me, etc., etc." And he was just like, "Damn, I just wanted to see if they would fit lengthwise, because if they do, and you don't want them, maybe I can have one." Basically, my husband thinks I owe him an apology for having an attitude, and I don't feel like I do. How the heck am I supposed to know if it's just a general question when I'm just so used to it being a joke? So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He mocks you about your weight by trying on your pants, then acts innocent when you finally snap at him because that one time he happened to have a different reason, which admittedly, I'm skeptical of, for doing it. You're not overreacting or being unreasonable for assuming he was trying them on to mock you, because that's the only reason he's ever tried them on before. If he didn't want you to assume he was doing it to mock you, he could have just said, "Hey, can I try these on and see if they fit me? If they do, you can just give them to me instead of returning them if you decide you don't want them." Oh my gosh, so not the idiot. I had to read your post 3 times. My mind just couldn't get past the casual way you brought up him cheating on you for 2 years, and then literally one line down, the thing about the pants. I don't understand why you are with this man. He is disrespecting you left, right, and center, to the point where he's making you feel bad for having a normal reaction to him being a complete idiot. I don't for 1 minute believe his explanation is true. I think he was just shocked that you finally blew up about it and is conniving enough to flip it on you. Definitely not the idiot. Not the idiot. Your husband is intentionally poking at you and using the term joke as a cover. That is the truth. He knows it bothers you. He knows it makes you self-conscious. If he wanted new pants, he could buy his own. He used this as an opportunity to tear you down, then expects you to feel guilt and apologize for daring to be offended by offensive and cruel behavior. The only joke here is your husband. You deserve someone that treats you with kindness and love. Someone who, when told you are bothered by certain remarks, doesn't go out of their way to continue with those remarks.